Modern raids are not won by soldiers who breach the door. They're won hours earlier, in the sky. When US forces launched Operation Absolute Resolve to capture Nicolás Maduro, the mission wasn't just a special forces raid. It was a layered air operation. A coordinated system of stealth aircraft, electronic warfare platforms, ISR drones, and helicopters, all working as one machine. Because before Delta Force ever touched the ground, the battlefield had already been shaped. Every modern operation begins with intelligence. Above Venezuela, unmanned ISR platforms were already in position. High-altitude drones like the RQ-170 Sentinel and other ISR UAVs orbited silently, collecting signals, mapping movement, and building a live picture of Maduro's compound. The RQ-170 is built for this exact mission. Stealth shaping, minimal emissions, persistent surveillance. It doesn't just watch targets, it studies behavior. Who enters? Who leaves? When communications spike? When they go silent? This wasn't a last-minute scan. It was months of pattern-of-life intelligence fused with CIA human sources. By the time the operation launched, US planners didn't just know where Maduro was. They knew how the system around him worked. And that intelligence didn't stay in the sky. It fed directly to operators inbound on helicopters, to command aircraft overhead, and back to decision-makers thousands of kilometers away, in real time. Knowing is one thing. Denying the enemy the ability to respond is another. That's where EA-18G Growlers come in. These are not strike aircraft. They don't carry bombs. They carry electronic attack. As the operation began, Growlers targeted Venezuelan radar systems, communications networks, and air defense links. They jammed frequencies, injected false signals, and disrupted coordination across the battle space. Radars went blind. Command networks fragmented. And suddenly, an integrated air defense system became a collection of isolated nodes. This is why no US aircraft were lost during the raid, despite Venezuela fielding layered Russian-made air defenses. Because the system wasn't destroyed first, it was disconnected. With defenses degraded, stealth platforms moved into the core of the battle space. F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightning IIs formed the inner shield. The F-22 provided air dominance, scanning for any attempt to scramble fighters. Its radar and sensor fusion allowed it to track threats before they could even respond. The F-35 did something different. It acted as a sensor node. The aircraft fused radar, infrared, and electronic intelligence into a single picture, then shared that data across the force. In modern operations, the F-35 is not just a fighter. It's a flying data hub. Every radar it detected, every emitter it classified, was fed back into the network, refining the operational picture in real time. Together, F-22s and F-35s didn't just protect the mission. They defined the battle space. Further back, but still critical, were the bombers. B-2 Spirits and B-1B Lancers. Their role wasn't the target. It was the system around the target. Using precision strikes and standoff munitions, they hit key nodes, radar sites, command facilities, power infrastructure, creating localized disruption across Caracas. Parts of the city went dark. Air defense coordination collapsed. This wasn't destruction for its own sake. It was shaping the environment, reducing reaction time, slowing decision-making, and isolating the target. Even as strikes and jamming unfolded, ISR never stopped. The RQ-170 and other UAVs remained overhead, tracking movement inside the compound. Doors opening, vehicles repositioning, guards shifting. This was no longer intelligence. This was live targeting data. Feeds were streamed directly to Delta Force teams inbound, command aircraft coordinating the raid, strategic leadership monitoring the operation. In previous wars, this level of visibility took hours or days. Here, it happened in seconds. Only after all of that did helicopters move in. UH-60 Black Hawks, flown by elite Special Operations Aviation units, carried Delta Force into Caracas. But by this point, the hardest part of the mission was already done. Air defenses were degraded. Communications were disrupted. The target was confirmed. The helicopters weren't entering a contested battle space. They were entering a controlled one. Fighter aircraft remained overhead as a protective shell, ready to respond instantly if anything changed. ISR drones continued tracking the compound, and electronic warfare assets maintained pressure on enemy systems. Inside that window, Delta Force executed the assault, breaching, securing, and extracting the target within minutes. Even after capture, the operation continued. Fighters maintained air dominance. ISR drones monitored for pursuit. Electronic warfare assets suppressed any attempt to reorganize. Because the most dangerous moment in any raid is not entry, it's leaving. Maduro was extracted and flown out under the same layered protection that enabled the raid in the first place. From the outside, Operation Absolute Resolve looks like a Special Forces success. But the reality is different. More than 150 aircraft were involved in the operation. Stealth fighters, bombers, electronic warfare jets, ISR drones, helicopters, command aircraft. Each played a specific role. Each filled a gap in the system. Because modern warfare is no longer about who arrives with the most force, it's about who arrives with the most information. In the capture of Nicolás Maduro, the helicopters didn't win the mission. The network did. The sensors, the stealth, the electronic warfare, the aircraft in the sky that made the battlefield predictable, controllable, and survivable before the first soldier ever hit the ground. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how modern air power really works, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay sharp, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.